Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Sparkle English, where I teach you how to improve your English language skills. This is the first video in a new series of spelling and grammar practice. You have to correct the spelling and grammar of this short story. Some of the errors are quite obvious and others are more complicated. So in this lesson, I'm going to read 4 different pages and you have to correct any spelling and grammar errors. Pay attention to spelling, subject-verb agreement, and any other mistakes you can see. Let's begin. A winter miracle. Bethany hadn't been home for Christmas since 2019. She'd been working abroad as an English teacher when they closed the borders during the pandemic. This would be her first chance to hug her grandparents, parents, cousins, and siblings in 3 years. Bethany's nephews were so excited to see her. Her flight to New York were booked, and she was all packed and ready to go. Okay, let's begin. The first mistake is the article a. This should be an. She'd been working abroad as an English teacher. Before words that begin with a vowel sound, we use an, not a. The next mistake is nephews. There is no apostrophe with nephews because we are using the plural form of nephew. We are not talking about possession. We are talking about possession with Bethany because the nephews are her nephews. And the last mistake on this page is were. Her flight to New York were booked. This should be was because the subject-verb agreement is not correct. Flight is singular, so we say it was, not it were. If flight was plural, if it was flights with an S, then we could say her flights were booked. But in this case, it is not. It is singular. Next page. She woke up at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning and had 2 hours to get ready before her taxi came. Bethany made sure she turned off all the lights and unplugged all of her devices. She locked the door and happily waited outside for her taxi to arrive at 6 a.m. However, her taxi was late. It was 6:30 a.m. and the driver still hadn't shown up. She taked out her cell phone and called the taxi company, but no one answered. She called a lot of other taxi companies, but no one answered the phone. Okay, so we have more errors on this page. The first error is of. This should be off. She turned off all the lights. The next error is happily. The adverb happily, we have an I-L-Y, happily. When an adjective ends with Y, we add I-L-Y to make it into an adverb. The next mistake is taked. The past form of take is not taked, it is took. T-O-O-K. She took out her cell phone. And the last error on this page is a lot. A lot should have a space between it. A space lot. Now let's go on to the next page. She started to panic. Her flight was departing in 2 hours and she had no way to get to the airport. There was no one she could call to drive her because her whole family lived in the United States. Suddenly, she seen a car stop at a red light with an older woman driving. She ran over to the car with tears streaming down her face and yelled, "Can you help me?" The woman rolled down her window and asked, "Are you okay?" Okay, the first mistake is to. This should only have one O. She started to panic. The next mistake is there. This there, T-H-E-I-R, we use when we're talking about possession. Here, it should be T-H-E-R-E. And the next mistake is the homophone whole. We should have a W. This whole without a W means like a piece missing in a shirt, for example, or a hole in the ground. However, W-H-O-L-E means entire. The next mistake is seen. Suddenly, she's seen a car stop. It should be saw. We're using the past simple. Suddenly, she saw. Okay, let's go on to the last page. I'm trying to get to the airport and can't find a taxi. I'll pay you $100 cash if you can drive me. I am desperate, Bethany begged. Let's go. Get in the car. We don't want to lose time talking. I'll get you there in 20 minutes, the kind woman said. Bethany got in the car and instantly trusted the woman. They have a smooth ride to the airport. When they arrived, Bethany offered her $100. I don't want no money. Merry Christmas, the woman said. Okay, the first mistake is drove. This should be, I'll pay you $100 cash if you can drive me. The next mistake is desperate. This is spelled incorrectly. Desperate has an A-T-E, not an E-T-E. And in the next paragraph, we have several mistakes. Let's go. We should have an apostrophe between let and the S, because that is a contraction for let us. And here, lose time talking should only have one O, not loose. Lose with one O. And again, there, T-H-E-I-R is incorrect. It should be T-H-E-R-E. The next mistake is the grammar tense. They have a smooth ride to the airport. We're still talking in the past tense. So had, not have. They had a smooth ride to the airport. And finally, the last error is I don't want no money. This is a double negative. In English, we say any. I don't want any money. Now, of course, if you are reading a book, the author may choose to intentionally have incorrect grammar for some of its characters. That could be the way a character speaks. However, grammatically, it is incorrect. Okay, so let me know in the comment section how many mistakes you had or what was the most difficult. This was a mixture of easier and more difficult spelling and grammar errors. Make sure to subscribe to Sparkle English for more lessons and practice like this, and I will see you in my next video.